Imagine a Russian hacker so formidable he could steal millions with just a keyboard, and whose actions were shielded by powerful family ties. This is the story of Roman Seleznev, the notorious cyber outlaw whose rise to infamy forever altered the landscape of digital crime. Born in Russia, Seleznev quickly ascended the ranks of underground hackers, making his mark on illicit forums and executing daring scams that defied conventional security. His exploits were not just about technical brilliance. They were steeped in mystery, a twist of fate during a terrorist attack in Marrakesh, intertwined with hints of influential connections that may have kept him one step ahead of international justice. Roman Seleznev's journey into cybercrime began in the shadowy corridors of early 2000s Russia, a time when the internet was still a mysterious frontier, and the concept of online security was in its infancy. From a very young age, Seleznev was fascinated by computers. What started as a simple curiosity soon evolved into an obsession as he learned the inner workings of operating systems and networks. His early experiments involved exploring software vulnerabilities and learning how data could be manipulated with nothing more than a keyboard and an internet connection. In his teenage years, Seleznev was introduced to the world of carding, a practice that involved stealing and reselling credit card information. This was a period when hackers roamed the digital underground with a mix of youthful exuberance and rebellious defiance. Websites like card.org became virtual playgrounds where hackers exchanged tips, shared exploits, and boasted about their small-scale successes. For Seleznev, these early experiences were crucial. Every credit card number obtained, every security protocol bypassed, added to his growing technical prowess. His dedication led him to immerse himself completely in this subculture, where every bit of stolen data was seen as a trophy, a small but significant step towards something far greater. The hacker forums of that era were raw, unpolished, and fiercely competitive. Seleznev's involvement in these communities allowed him to test his skills against more experienced criminals and learn from their successes and mistakes. The environment was both educational and ruthless. As he navigated these digital battlegrounds, he adopted an alias that would soon become infamous. Although his early handles were modest, they eventually evolved into names that struck fear into the hearts of those who knew the dark web. His ability to solve problems quickly, combined with a willingness to push boundaries, set him apart from many of his peers. The early foundations of his career were built on these unregulated spaces, places where ethics were often blurred by the thrill of the hack and the promise of easy money. While technical aptitude was crucial, Seleznev's rapid rise in the digital underworld was also significantly influenced by a strong, albeit enigmatic mentor. This mentor, whose identity remains shrouded in secrecy, not only provided him with advanced technical training, but also introduced him to the intricate networks that operated behind the scenes. This guidance was instrumental in helping Seleznev navigate a world where trust was scarce, and connections could mean the difference between success and a lifetime on the run. This influential figure instilled in Seleznev a philosophy of ruthlessness and efficiency. More than just a teacher of techniques, the mentor imparted lessons on how to manage risks, avoid detection, and build alliances within the criminal underworld. There were whispers that the mentor's own connections extended into higher echelons of power, possibly even linking him to influential figures or state-sponsored groups. Although concrete evidence of direct political protection was never confirmed, these hints added layers of mystique and invincibility to Seleznev's persona. His mentor's guidance encouraged him to think bigger and to see the vast potential in exploiting the emerging digital landscape. Furthermore, family influence played a subtle, yet significant role. Seleznev's background in Russia was steeped in an environment where a mix of tradition, survival instinct, and a certain disregard for conventional authority shaped his worldview. His upbringing, influenced by those who valued power and resilience, instilled in him the belief that one could bend the rules of society, and even those of the state, if one was clever enough. This background, combined with his mentor's strategic insights, prepared him to venture boldly into the realm of cybercrime. He learned that while technical skills were essential, the real power lay in leveraging connections and understanding the intricate dynamics of trust and deception. As Seleznev matured, his operations evolved from petty scams into sophisticated fraud schemes that targeted high-value financial assets. His early operations involved the gathering and selling of stolen personal data, a practice that quickly turned into a lucrative business in the dark web. He was particularly adept at collecting credit card dumps, social security numbers, and other sensitive personal details. Each piece of data was meticulously cataloged and later sold to other criminals for a tidy profit. In these early days, Seleznev built a reputation as a reliable source for high-quality stolen information, a reputation that would serve as the cornerstone of his digital empire. Transitioning from low-level scams to larger, more complex fraud operations, Seleznev began to orchestrate multi-million-dollar schemes. He recognized that the potential for profit in the digital age was not limited to small-time theft. By exploiting vulnerabilities in large-scale financial systems, he could amass fortunes that would rival traditional heists. Seleznev's operations became more organized and methodical. He started employing advanced techniques, such as using proxies and VPNs to mask his digital footprint, and developing custom malware to infiltrate secure systems. His strategic use of technology allowed him to bypass the safeguards that were designed to protect unsuspecting victims, and he quickly became one of the most dangerous players in the online criminal arena. The digital underworld provided the perfect environment for Seleznev to thrive. The vast, unregulated networks of the internet were filled with opportunities, and he seized them with an intensity that was unmatched. He collaborated with other hackers, shared his methods, and even began mentoring a new generation of cyber criminals, passing on the secrets of his success. This period marked the rapid expansion of his criminal enterprise, a transition from isolated acts of fraud to a sprawling, interconnected operation that spanned multiple countries and financial systems. Seleznev's empire was built on the relentless pursuit of profit. He wasn't merely satisfied with stealing data. He aimed to build a full-scale marketplace for illicit information and financial transactions. His business model involved aggregating stolen data, such as credit card numbers and personal identification details, and then distributing it through underground marketplaces. These platforms became virtual gold mines, generating millions in revenue as other criminals bought and sold the stolen information. The success of these operations solidified Seleznev's reputation and made him a household name in cybercrime circles. At the same time, his methods grew more audacious. Seleznev began experimenting with cryptocurrency as a new medium for fraud. With Bitcoin emerging as a dominant digital currency, he saw an opportunity to expand his operations into uncharted territory. He leveraged his technical expertise to infiltrate online exchanges and siphon funds from unsuspecting victims. His foray into cryptocurrency theft was executed with the same precision as his earlier credit card scams, but on a scale that was even more devastating. By converting stolen financial data into digital currency, he not only obscured the money trail, but also tapped into a market that was rapidly growing and notoriously difficult to regulate. Despite the increasing sophistication of his operations, Seleznev's early days were marked by a paradox. Every hack, every stolen transaction left behind a digital fingerprint, a permanent record on the blockchain or in leaked data repositories. While these traces provided a roadmap for law enforcement, Seleznev's confidence in his abilities and the protection afforded by his powerful connections allowed him to push the boundaries of what was possible. His ability to continuously innovate and adapt in an ever-changing digital landscape was nothing short of extraordinary. Yet, it was precisely this relentless ambition that would eventually sow the seeds of his downfall. His growing notoriety attracted the attention of international law enforcement agencies, and every transaction, every data breach, became a potential link in a chain that could lead back to him. Even as he celebrated his successes on underground forums and in lavish parties, the meticulous nature of digital records ensured that his every move was being tracked. His reputation for being a trusted seller in the cyber underworld was built on a foundation of precision and ruthlessness, but it also made him a prime target for those determined to bring him down. By the end of this formative phase, Roman Seleznev had transformed from a curious teenager dabbling in computer hacks into a sophisticated cyber criminal with a sprawling digital empire. His early exploits in carding and data theft laid the groundwork for an operation that would eventually redefine the landscape of cybercrime.